Hi, Michelle McDowell. We are on lesson 21 today of our Bible cloth, and we're talking about the promised land. Remember when God led his people out of Egypt? He took care of them in such a sweet way. He led them during the day by a pillar of cloud, and then at night, a pillar of fire. He gave them manna when they were hungry, and he gave them water when they were thirsty. So he met their needs, just like he does for us today. But boys and girls, one thing that happened after all that God had done for the Israelites, they came upon the promised land, and Moses sent some scouts from each tribe to go into the promised land and to come back and report to the people. So there were 12 spies that went in and checked things out. And 10 came back with a negative report. Oh my, there are giants there. This is not good. But Caleb and his trusty friend Joshua, they went in and they came out with a positive report. You know, upon hearing these reports, most of the people were afraid to enter the promised land, and they didn't believe that God would do what he said he would do. But Joshua and Caleb, they came back with a report that the land was filled with milk and honey, that the fruit was plentiful. You know, there's a difference between being positive and being negative, especially when it comes to when God is involved. If God makes a promise, he will follow through, and we're to trust that. So God saw the lack of trust amongst those people, and because of that lack of trust, they wandered in the desert for 40 years. They didn't even get to enter the promised land. But Joshua and Caleb did. And they entered the promised land with the children of the doubters. And during that wilderness journey, the people needed water. And God told Moses to speak to a rock. And this is so sad, because up until this point, Moses had been so obedient to God and did everything that he told him to do. But this one particular time was a terrible mistake on Moses' part. He didn't follow God's instructions to the T. Moses lifted his hand and he struck the rock twice with his rod. And water poured out. But God told Moses that he wouldn't go into the promised land because of the sin of obedience. God told him to speak to the rock, but Moses took it upon himself and he struck the rock. So when God tells us a detailed, specific thing to do, we need to listen and follow those directions. Now, after Moses died, Joshua and Caleb, they led the people into the promised land, and God was with them and blessed them for their obedience. See you next time.